Hi everyone. I have a confession to make, and that confession has to do with crying. So I cry about at least two to three times a week, I would say, is probably, when there's intense stuff going on. I might cry every day. And when there's normal life, I'd probably cry 2 to 3 times a week. And let me tell you why. There's a real good reason for it. I've been studying like neuroscience and how our emotions work for a good 8 years. And one of the things that I'm really familiar with, and I've also been practicing this, is that and the reason why I allow myself to cry is because it helps me to think. I mean, that's kind of the bottom line, is my thinking expands when I allow myself to offload and get rid of emotions. So that's one piece of it. Like in the moment, I can get rid of emotions and I can be clear and good thinking. Well, there's another piece to this, and that is that most people don't understand, is that when hard things have happened in our lives, and most of us have had a series of hard things that have happened in our lives, including stuff from early childhood. And I'm not talking about massive trauma, but I'm talking about little traumas, little things that were hard on us. And when we didn't, so back in the day when I was a child, it wasn't known that you should listen to children. It wasn't known how, the neuroscience wasn't there. And the understanding of how kids work wasn't there either. So, and how our emotional system works wasn't there. And parents didn't get enough support, and they had all of their feelings. And so we didn't get the support that we needed to be heard and listened to. And that, so then what happens is that the hurts that we've had, they stay in our brain, and they also stay in our body. They just sort of latch on to the cells, and they just stay there, these unhealed hurts. And so one of the ways to think of it is that we all have an emotional backpack of unhealed hurts that have been traveling around with us for years. And for the most part, we do a very good job of hiding that backpack. We do a very good job. But what happens is that we have intense situations, or we want to make a change in our lives, and we bump up against the triggers that are in our backpack. And then we I don't feel safe, and we retreat and we stay in the same place. And we just keep doing the same things. And that's why sometimes when we try to do something new and interesting, like whether it's a diet or whether it's health related or exercise related, we bump up against certain things. And the interesting thing here is that neuroscience teaches us is that we don't really necessarily have an awareness of it. And most people are familiar with subconsciousness, but there's lots of neuroscience behind that in terms of that things that things aren't in our awareness, but they might show up as body sensations. It might show up as confusion. It might show up as, just I don't understand this, or retreat. It might show up as retreat or withdrawal. Those are all signals of freeze, right? Well, not all of them, but there's freeze signals. So there's these modified fight, flight, or freeze signals that haven't been healed in us. Hi, Denise. And we carry those in our backpack, and we don't know that we have them. That's the interesting piece. We don't know we have them, and we oftentimes don't know that they're getting triggered. And so I belong to a group of people who actually, we work on our unhealed hurts. And I do this multiple times a week, because what I have found is that, it frees me, first of all. It gives me freedom to be more flexible, to be able to think well, to be able to make change in my life, to be able to listen well, to be playful, to be, more of who I want to be. And so yes, this way of offloading our feelings is just so incredibly supportive. And so I do it in the moment when I might be having something intense going on, and just in regular life, that doesn't happen every day For me anyway, there have been times it has, but not right now. There's been definite times it has. So, but I also know that, there's nothing intense going on in my life right now. And it's the perfect time to work on the stuff in my emotional backpack. And there's ways to do that. There's ways you can get at those feelings with some experience, but mostly I would say it's about trust. It's about, having enough incidences where you can offload feelings with another person that allows you to feel comfortable with that process and confident in that process. So that's part of it as well. And so this is a practice where actually I allow myself to have feelings about things with the support of another person. Like, I'm not alone in it. And that's an important piece of trauma, that you're not alone. And it's one of the ways we can heal hard things that have happened in our past, or trauma that's happened in our past. And there's different ways to offload. It's not just crying. It can be shaking. It can be movement. It can be heat, intensity, and movement. There's all kinds of ways to do this. But I just wanted to share that I cry regularly, and it's very focused. It's very intentional. It's very supportive. And it's even with a timer where, okay, I have 8 minutes to get to my feelings. And it's not that I have to get to my feelings, but I have space to do that. And when I have a good relationship with the person who's listening to me, that allows me to get to those feelings, because they're not going to judge me. They're not going to try to fix me. They're not going to give me advice. They're just going to let me get to my feelings. So I'm not going to go through the guidelines or the structure of this listening partnership process. But what I did want to share is that I cry often, I cry intentionally, and I let my body move. I let my feelings move, because when my feelings get stuck, my thinking gets stuck. Those feelings if I've been hurt in the past and it's stuck in my body, it actually affects my thinking. The prefrontal cortex reduces or shuts down, and I can't think very well. So I wanted to share and just really come out the value and the benefit of crying. This is actually a passion of mine, to be able to have support with another person, and I get to cry. I get to have my feelings, and then I'm done and I move on. It's a beautiful process. So I will probably share more here about listening partnerships. It's something I'm passionate about, and I've done it in the past. I just haven't done it for a while. So I would love to hear more. I did a post about when's the last time you cried, and the responses were fascinating. Really, really fascinating. So that was helpful, and I wanted to share this here too. So go ahead and cry, but get support for it. That's a huge key for sure. So thank you for coming today. I so appreciate you. Yeah. All right. Have a beautiful, amazing day. Bye.